Helping others is a noble act, one that brings satisfaction and strengthens the bonds of humanity. However, not everyone who receives help appreciates it. Some individuals take kindness for granted, expecting more without showing gratitude. It is essential to recognize such people and understand why offering them continuous help may not be the best choice. Ungrateful people often believe they are entitled to assistance. Instead of seeing help as a generous act, they consider it something they deserve. When you extend a helping hand, they may not even acknowledge your efforts, let alone express appreciation. They may not realize the time, energy, or sacrifice it takes for someone to offer support. Over time, dealing with such individuals can be emotionally draining and demotivating, making you question whether your kindness is worth it. One major issue with ungrateful people is that they never feel satisfied. No matter how much you do for them, they always want more. Instead of appreciating the effort, they focus on what was not given or what could have been better. For example, if you help someone financially, instead of thanking you, they might complain that it was not enough or that you should have helped sooner. This kind of behavior can make you feel used rather than valued. Another problem is that ungrateful individuals rarely acknowledge the efforts of others. Gratitude is a sign of respect and recognition for someone's kindness. When a person fails to appreciate help, they indirectly dismiss the time, thought, and effort behind it. This can create frustration and resentment in those who try to help. Over time, people become reluctant to assist such individuals, realizing that their kindness is being wasted on someone who does not value it. Ungrateful people can also take advantage of kindness. If they realize that help is being given freely and without question, they might continue to ask for more without any intention of giving back or learning to be independent. Instead of seeing help as a temporary support, they begin to rely on it as a permanent solution. This kind of dependency can become harmful, both for the helper and the one receiving help. It removes personal responsibility from the equation, making the person receiving assistance less likely to put in their own effort to solve problems. One of the most disappointing aspects of dealing with ungrateful people is that they often do not reciprocate when you need help. They take without giving and assume that kindness is a one-way street. When you eventually find yourself in need, they may be nowhere to be found, making excuses or simply ignoring your situation. This imbalance in relationships can lead to feelings of betrayal and disappointment, especially when you've gone out of your way to support them. Dealing with ungrateful individuals can also take a toll on mental and emotional well-being. Constantly giving without receiving any appreciation can lead to exhaustion, frustration, and even self-doubt. It can make you question whether helping others is worth it or if people truly deserve kindness. Over time, this can lead to a loss of motivation to help those who actually need and appreciate it. It is important to set boundaries and recognize when help is being taken for granted. While kindness is a beautiful quality, it should not be wasted on those who do not appreciate it. Helping should be a meaningful act, not an obligation forced by people who do not value your efforts. Learning to say no and focusing on those who genuinely need and appreciate assistance ensures that kindness is directed toward the right people. Choosing wisely whom to help does not mean becoming selfish. Rather, it means being mindful of where your energy and resources go. There are many people who truly appreciate kindness and use it to improve their lives. By directing help toward those who value it, you make a greater impact while protecting yourself from the negative effects of dealing with ungrateful individuals. Helping others is a noble and admirable quality, but it's important to be cautious about whom you choose to help. Not everyone seeks assistance with honest intentions. Some individuals manipulate others for their own benefit, using kindness as a weakness to exploit. These manipulators are skilled in playing with emotions, making people feel guilty, obligated, or even responsible for their problem. Recognizing such individuals is crucial to protecting yourself from being used. Manipulators often disguise their true intentions. They may appear helpless, overly emotional, or even extremely grateful in the beginning, but their goal is to control others. They know how to twist words and situations to make you feel like you have no choice but to help them. For example, They might say things like, if you really cared about me, you would do this for me, or I have no one else to turn to. These statements are designed to make you feel guilty, as if you are a bad person for refusing their request. One of the most common tactics manipulators use is emotional blackmail. They exploit your kindness and compassion, making you believe that their well-being depends on your actions. If you try to step back, they may act hurt, disappointed, or even angry to force you into doing what they want. Some manipulators cry, beg, or act as if they are in deep distress, while others use aggression, threats, or silent treatment to get what they want. They know how to push the right emotional buttons to make you feel responsible for their happiness or success. Another way manipulators work is by creating a sense of obligation. They might do small favors for you and later demand much bigger ones in return. For instance, they may say, "Remember when I helped you? Now it's your turn." This makes you feel like you owe them something, even if their past help was minor compared to what they are asking from you. They manipulate your sense of fairness, making you believe that you are being selfish if you do not give in to their demands. Some manipulators also play the victim. They constantly talk about how unfair life is to them, how others have wronged them, or how they always suffer. They create stories that make them seem weak and powerless, hoping that someone will step in and fix their problems. They might refuse to take responsibility for their own actions, blaming others or bad luck for their situation. Instead of trying to improve their circumstances, they rely on others to solve their issues for them. A more dangerous type of manipulator uses flattery and false friendship to get what they want. They might praise you, act overly kind, and pretend to admire you just to gain your trust. Once you start feeling close to them, they slowly begin to ask for favors, knowing that it will be harder for you to refuse. Over time, they might increase their demands, taking advantage of your generosity. These individuals are especially dangerous because they make you believe that they genuinely care about you, when in reality, they are only interested in what they can gain. Manipulators can be found in all areas of life: friends, family members, colleagues, or even strangers. The best way to deal with them is to recognize their tactics and set firm boundaries. If someone frequently makes you feel guilty, obligated, or emotionally drained, it is a sign that they may be manipulating you. Learn to say no without feeling bad about it. True kindness should not come at the cost of your well-being. Helping others is a beautiful thing, but it should be done wisely. Not everyone who asks for help truly needs it, and not everyone deserves your time and effort. Protect yourself from manipulators by being aware of their tricks and staying strong in your decisions. It is important to be kind, but it is equally important to ensure that your kindness is not being misused. Helping others is a sign of kindness and generosity, but it is important to know when and how to offer assistance. One of the biggest mistakes people make is supporting laziness, whether in friends, family members, or colleagues. While it is natural to help those who are struggling, continuously assisting people who refuse to make an effort only encourages dependency and irresponsibility. Instead of truly benefiting them, such help can make them even more reliant on others, preventing them from learning important life skills. Laziness is not just about physical inactivity, it is a mindset. Some people choose to do the bare minimum, expecting others to handle their responsibilities. They make excuses for not working hard, blaming circumstances, lack of resources, or bad luck. However, the reality is that success and progress require effort, determination, and persistence. When you keep supporting someone who refuses to take action, you are not helping them grow. You are making it easier for them to remain in their comfort zone. One of the biggest dangers of supporting laziness is that it creates an unfair balance in relationships. When one person always gives while the other only takes, it leads to frustration and resentment. Imagine a student who refuses to study and always asks classmates for notes or help before exams. At first, friends may feel sympathetic and offer their assistance. However, if the same student never puts in effort and continues to rely on others, their friends will eventually feel used and unappreciated. The same happens in workplaces and households. When one person avoids work, others are forced to carry the burden. Another problem with supporting laziness is that it discourages self-improvement. When people know they will receive help no matter what, they lose the motivation to work hard. Why should they make an effort if someone else is always there to rescue them? For example, if a parent keeps giving money to an adult child who refuses to find a job, that child will have no reason to seek employment. Instead of learning financial responsibility, they will continue to rely on their parents indefinitely. In such cases, constant support does not solve the problem, it makes it worse. Laziness can also spread like an infection. When people see that others are getting by without working hard, they may begin to adopt the same behavior. In a classroom, if one student consistently avoids work but still gets the same rewards as hardworking students, others may lose motivation to put in effort. In a workplace, if a lazy employee is allowed to avoid responsibilities while still receiving a salary, it can lower the morale of dedicated workers. Supporting laziness not only affects individuals, but also negatively impacts teams, families, and communities. Some lazy individuals are experts at making others feel guilty. They may act helpless, claiming that they cannot complete tasks on their own. They might say, "I don't know how to do it," or "You are better at this than me," as a way to shift their responsibilities onto others. While it is good to help people learn, doing everything for them only reinforces their laziness. Instead of offering constant assistance, it is better to encourage them to take initiative and be responsible for their own tasks. The best way to deal with laziness is by setting boundaries. If someone continuously asks for help but refuses to make an effort, it is important to say no. Encourage them to take responsibility for their actions and face the consequences of their choices. For example, if a student refuses to do their homework, they should face the teacher's punishment instead of relying on classmates to save them. If an adult refuses to find a job, they should learn to manage without financial support instead of depending on others. By allowing people to experience the results of their laziness, they may eventually realize the importance of hard work. Helping others is a wonderful thing, but it should not come at the cost of promoting laziness. True kindness is not about making life easier for people who refuse to try. It is about guiding them towards self-reliance and growth. By refusing to support laziness, you are not being harsh. You are teaching a valuable lesson that will benefit them in the long run. Helping others is a noble act, but it is important to recognize when your help is being wasted. Some people do not seek solutions to their problems. Instead, they constantly complain without making any effort to improve their situation. These individuals drain energy, spread negativity, and create an atmosphere of hopelessness. Staying away from complainers is necessary for maintaining a positive mindset and avoiding unnecessary stress. Complainers always focus on what is wrong rather than what can be done to fix it. No matter how many solutions you offer, they will find a reason why nothing will work. They prefer to dwell on problems instead of taking action. For example, a student might constantly complain about getting bad grades, but never make an effort to study harder. A person may complain about their job but refuse to look for better opportunities. Instead of using their energy to change their situation, they waste it on negativity. One of the biggest problems with complainers is that they spread negativity to those around them. Their constant dissatisfaction can make even the most optimistic person feel discouraged. When you spend too much time listening to complaints, you might start to adopt the same negative mindset. For example, if a group of students always complains about how difficult a subject is, others might start to believe they cannot succeed, even if they have the ability. This negative energy lowers motivation and creates a toxic environment. Another issue with complainers is that they drain emotional and mental energy. Trying to help someone who refuses to change can be exhausting. You may spend time encouraging them, giving advice, or offering support, only to see them continue complaining as if nothing was said. This can leave you feeling frustrated and helpless. Over time, dealing with complainers can become emotionally overwhelming. making it harder for you to focus on your own growth and responsibilities. Complainers also tend to blame others for their problems. Instead of taking responsibility for their actions, they believe that life is unfair or that others are the reason for their struggles. This mindset prevents them from making any real progress. A student might blame their teacher for their low grades instead of admitting that they did not study enough. A person might blame their bad luck for not getting a job instead of improving their skills. By refusing to accept responsibility, complainers trap themselves in a cycle of negativity and failure. Another way complainers can be harmful is by discouraging others from taking action. They often tell people that things will not work out, even when success is possible. If you share your goals with a complainer, they might respond with negativity, saying things like, "That's too hard," or "You're wasting your time." This can make you doubt yourself and lose confidence in your abilities. Being around such people can prevent you from taking risks, trying new things, and reaching your full potential. To protect yourself from the influence of complainers, it is important to set boundaries. If someone constantly complains without taking action, limit your interactions with them. Avoid engaging in negative conversations. And do not waste your time offering solutions to someone who refuses to listen. Instead, focus on surrounding yourself with positive, action-oriented people who inspire and motivate you. It is also important to lead by example. Instead of complaining, focus on finding solutions and taking action. If you face a problem, work towards fixing it rather than dwelling on it. Show others that success comes from effort, not complaints. By maintaining a proactive attitude, you can inspire others to adopt a more positive and productive mindset. Helping others is a sign of kindness and generosity, but it is important to be cautious about whom you choose to help. Not everyone who seeks assistance does so with honest intentions. Some people are deceivers and users who take advantage of the goodwill of others for their own benefit. These individuals manipulate, lie, and exploit others without any sense of gratitude or fairness. Recognizing and avoiding such people is necessary to protect yourself from being used and drained emotionally, financially, and mentally. Deceivers are experts at pretending. They create false stories and play with emotions to gain sympathy and trust. They may act as if they are struggling when in reality they have no real difficulties. For example, someone might pretend to be financially unstable to get money from others, even though they have the means to support themselves. Such people know how to appear helpless and desperate so that others feel guilty for not helping them. Once they achieve their goal, they disappear or move on to their next target. Users, on the other hand, do not necessarily lie, but they take advantage of others without giving anything in return. They only seek relationships or friendships when they need something. When you are useful to them, they act friendly and caring, but as soon as they no longer need you, they ignore or abandon you. A common example is a classmate who only talks to you when they need help with assignments, but never acknowledges your efforts otherwise. Similarly, a colleague may act friendly when they need assistance at work, but never return the favor. One of the biggest dangers of dealing with deceivers and users is that they drain your resources. Whether it is time, money, or effort, they take as much as possible while giving nothing back. If you constantly help someone who never helps you in return, you will eventually feel exhausted and unappreciated. It is important to recognize when a relationship is one-sided and set limits before it negatively affects your well-being. Another problem with deceivers is that they often use emotional manipulation. They make you feel guilty for not helping them, even when their requests are unreasonable. They may say things like, "If you really cared about me, you would do this for me," or "You're the only person who can help me." These statements are designed to make you feel obligated to give in to their demands. In reality, no one should pressure you into helping them, especially if they do not show the same care and support in return. Users also tend to take advantage of kind-hearted people who find it difficult to say no. They know that some individuals are naturally generous and willing to help, so they target them repeatedly. The problem with always saying yes is that it encourages their behavior, making them believe they can continue to exploit you. If you notice that someone only contacts you when they need something, it is a sign that they are using you. To protect yourself from deceivers and users, it is important to set boundaries. Do not feel guilty about saying no when someone asks for help, especially if you know they are not genuine. Observe people's actions rather than just listening to their words. A true friend or a sincere person will not only seek help, but will also offer support when you need it. A deceiver or user, on the other hand, will disappear when they have nothing to gain. Surrounding yourself with honest and appreciative people is essential for maintaining healthy relationships. Genuine friendships and connections are built on mutual respect, support, and trust. Helping others is a beautiful thing, but it should be done wisely. By being cautious of deceivers and users, you can ensure that your kindness is given to those who truly deserve it, rather than those who only seek to take advantage of it. Helping others is one of the greatest qualities a person can have. It reflects kindness, generosity, and a strong sense of responsibility toward others. However, not all help leads to positive outcomes. Sometimes blindly offering help can do more harm than good, both to the person receiving it and to yourself. That is why it is important to help wisely, ensuring that your efforts truly benefit others rather than encouraging dependency, laziness, or manipulation. One of the biggest mistakes people make is helping without understanding the real needs of the person they are assisting. Some individuals may ask for help when they do not truly need it, or when they can solve their own problems with a little effort. For example, a student who refuses to study and always asks for answers instead of learning will never develop the necessary skills to succeed. If someone constantly provides them with solutions, they will remain dependent on others rather than improving their own abilities. Helping wisely means recognizing when assistance is truly needed and when it will only encourage irresponsibility. Another important aspect of helping wisely is identifying whether the person receiving help is making an effort. There is a big difference between someone who is genuinely struggling and someone who simply wants an easy way out. If a person refuses to work hard, learn, or take responsibility, continuously helping them will not bring any real improvement in their life. For example, if a friend always borrows money but never tries to manage their expenses wisely, giving them financial assistance repeatedly will not solve their problem. Instead, it will make them dependent on others and less motivated to take control of their own situation. Some people take advantage of the kindness of others. They manipulate, deceive, and use emotions to get what they want. These individuals do not truly need help, but rather seek to benefit at the expense of others. They may pretend to be in difficult situations or exaggerate their struggles just to gain sympathy. For example, a colleague who always asks for help with work but never helps others is not truly in need. They are simply taking advantage of their coworkers' willingness to assist. In such cases, it is important to set boundaries and recognize when someone is using your kindness for their own benefit. Helping wisely also means considering the long-term effects of your assistance. Sometimes immediate help can create future problems. For instance, if parents do everything for their children without teaching them responsibility, those children may grow up unable to face challenges on their own. Similarly, if a teacher always gives students the easiest way out instead of challenging them, the students will not develop critical thinking and problem-solving skills. Instead of just providing immediate relief, it is important to encourage people to become independent and capable of handling their own issues. It is also essential to protect your own well-being while helping others. If you constantly help without considering your own needs, you may end up emotionally, physically, or financially drained. True generosity does not mean sacrificing your own happiness or success for the sake of others. Instead, it involves finding a balance, helping when necessary, but also ensuring that you are not being taken advantage of or neglecting your own responsibility. Helping others is a wonderful thing, but it should be done with wisdom and caution. Not everyone who asks for help truly deserves it, and not every situation requires immediate assistance. Instead of blindly giving, it is better to evaluate the situation, encourage independence, and ensure that your help leads to real improvement. By helping wisely, you can make a meaningful difference in people's lives while also protecting yourself from being misused or exhausted. True kindness is not about saying yes to every request. It is about making sure that your efforts lead to positive and lasting change.